All right, we're speaking with Jason Hubbard today, the Law and Justice Coordinator here at Creekview High, and he's going to be sharing with us his thoughts on the collaborative experience with the library this semester.
Thanks. Well, we've had several projects that we've worked on in the Media Center. I was looking for ways to present some of the new material we were doing with this new program and give the students some other ways to work on some of the things that they haven't normally done in the past. And we've come up with some pretty interesting things. The kids had some really good times with that, some new ways to present things besides pencil paper or the usual PowerPoint. And it's the best thing is probably is just challenge the kids a great deal. Some of the things that they thought might just be easy, especially by the new avenue that they were being delivered, ended up being pretty challenging for them. They definitely had to dig and research more than they usually have, but in the end, I think they all got a lot more out of it. When we did any kind of evaluations after the projects were over, they all had a better handle on the material. It was an adjustment for me getting used to grading some of the things that were all online and not having papers in front of me to mark. But in the end, and for me, I like not having piles of papers around, so it worked out really well. We had very few technology glitches, so it was pretty easy for me to jump online and grade anything I needed to. It was also easy to set, cut off dates because we could cut off the technology and they couldn't go back and add anything. So I like that about it. And a lot of the collaborative group work where it required some groups to depend on the other ones, I like that a great deal as well because it forced the students to really be on the ball and meet deadlines, where the other students were actually getting on each other's case pretty good for not getting stuff done because it was holding everybody else up. So I look forward to, as we've built 3 levels in the program now and doing some new curriculum over the next couple of years and revamping the first levels of coming up with some new projects and new things to do in here.
Well, I know you've certainly been one of our leaders in using Wikispaces for the students posting their work virtually, and you've really been kind of thinking outside the box and trying to get them to think critically and incorporating those collaborative learning activities with your students. Do you think that with these new approaches to learning and teaching that you're using in your program, are you finding that students are more engaged, or what are your perceptions of student learning?
I think so. I think it's definitely, at first it's making them uncomfortable, getting them out of their comfort zone, which I like. It may be out of my comfort zone as well, but the benefit for me and probably what makes it a little easier is this is a newer program. So I was attacking new stuff anyway, whereas coming from math, we're used to the traditional way of everything's going on. And the time constraints are a little bit less for me in this one, so it was really a lot easier for me to say, hey, let's just try this, and then if it flops, we might have some extra time to fix it, or try something else. But nothing flopped, and now that we have a little bit more stringent time constraints from the state, I'm not afraid to continue to come back in here. I think everything's working out pretty good, especially since we've done it one time, and we can just look at new ways to make things better. New stuff comes up, we can try the new stuff.
Well, I know we've certainly enjoyed working with you and your students. For our viewers, could you maybe tell them just a little bit about how the school library program has helped support these types of learning experiences for you and your students?
Support is a very weak word compared to what was actually going on, especially for the first few projects. I had a project idea and just kind of said, hey, Ms. Hamilton, how could we do this, something different? And when we got ready to do it, it was all laid out for me. So not that everybody should expect them to lay everything out for them, but it worked out great. I had to do very little of what it took to actually make the project function in here in the Media Center. I kind of laid the skeleton for what the requirements were, and then it just all came together. All the pathfinders were done, and the research was ready, and all the media staff could answer any questions that the kids had before I could. So it was a good learning experience for me on how to use some of the new stuff as well, which made it a lot more comfortable because I didn't feel like I had to be an expert once the kids got started, and I kind of learned some of the new stuff when they did. So that made it very easy to do. So I would encourage any teacher to, if they've got the time or can make the time, to try to come in and set something like that up, because it was very easy to do.
Well, I know you're definitely one of our key collaborative partners, and we always enjoy listening to your ideas and brainstorming and then helping you bring that to life for your students. Just one last final question. You were actually my very first teacher here to use Wikispaces. How would you say the students adapted to using that tool? Did it seem like it was a fairly gentle learning curve, or what were your perceptions?
I think it being new, especially with these kids supposedly being the technology age. Just the fact that it wasn't the usual thing and we were out of the classroom and they weren't writing stuff down on a sheet of paper or looking at a PowerPoint. I think it just captured them right off the bat with that. And it didn't seem to take any of mine very long to get used to it. It was very user-friendly. They jumped on board. Like I said, for me, it was not really difficult to grade any different than anything else. I think they all got a kick out of it. The next time we were getting ready to do something, they all even asked if we were going to get to do something again on a Wikispace or
Cool.
a Glogster or something like that. So I think most of the kids are pretty receptive to it. You'll still have your few that would rather do pencil paper stuff because maybe they don't have computers at home or whatnot, but I think the majority prefer.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to working with you again soon next semester and supporting you and your students, and we appreciate your taking the time to share your reflections with us today.
Oh, no problem. The pleasure was mine.